I just wanted to concentrate on the Islamic Golden Age. Was that around the time that we know as the Islamic Golden Age?
Yeah, so the Islamic Golden Age, well, there's kind of two, and the one is the Abbasids in Baghdad, and this is the Abbasid empire starts after the Umayyads, and the Umayyads are like so around 750. Usually, the Abbasid Golden Age would be sometime after 800.
Mhm.
Okay, and this is Harun al-Rashid, who's now allied with or on friendly terms with Charlemagne. But there's also a supposed golden age in Spain, Umayyad Spain, in Cordoba. And what needs to be understood about the golden age is this. Let me try to start it off by giving you an analogy, right? I forget which Arab country or in the Gulf, which is the one that has those skyscrapers that everyone.
Dubai?
Dubai,
Yeah,
UAE.
Dubai. Yeah. Okay.
UAE.
Imagine many.
I also just want to counter something. The Islamic Golden Age is kind of a myth. Actually, no, it is a myth. It is a myth. The vast majority of scholars, scientists, authors, mathematicians during the Islamic Golden Age were actually Iranian. Many of them were, in fact, fake Muslims. So they only pretended to be Muslim in order to stay alive and to, of course, not be murdered by their Muslim overlords. There's no such thing as the Islamic Golden Age. If anything, it should be called the Iranian Golden Age. I just find it absolutely ridiculous how the Arab Muslim colonizers are constantly trying to claim other cultures and other civilizations as their own. And why are they trying to actively erase the identity of the scholars by just claiming that, they're all Muslim, right? For example, like when people are talking about Shakespeare, right? Instead of saying that Shakespeare was a British poet, imagine someone just saying, yeah, Shakespeare was a Christian poet and everything that he did was because of Christianity. Does that make any sense to you? No one talks about Shakespeare, the Christian poet. No one talks about Bach, the Christian composer, or Mozart, the Christian composer. They identify people by their nationality and where they were from. And yet, for some reason, when it comes to the Islamic Golden Age, first of all, they erase their identity. They never mention, that they were Persian. They basically say all this happened because of Islam, right? Okay, well, if the Islamic Golden Age happened because of Islam, why the hell are modern day countries that are governed by Sharia law 7th century Islamic hellholes? If Islam is what led to the Islamic Golden Age, why is Afghanistan such a hellhole? Why is Iran, which is now occupied by the Islamic Republic, a hellhole? So you have to think critically about these things. And the reason that the Islamic Golden Age happened early on is because that was the same time that they were conquering all these different peoples from different civilizations. Every civilization that they conquered and captured, they basically took their knowledge, took their scholars, forced everyone to become Muslim, and then they claimed all of that in the name of Islam. You have to think critically about these things. Unfortunately, history is always written by the victors. Kind of how they're rewriting history when it comes to the Crusades, right? You have these people just trying to make it seem as if the Crusades happened because the big bad Christians just decided to attack the Arab Muslim invaders. Very similar with the Islamic Golden Age. I'll give you one example. They like to say that a Muslim invented algebra, which is totally false. First of all, algebra originates from India, and then Al-Khwarizmi, who we call the father of modern day algebra, he was inspired by the Hindus. And then when he created modern day algebra, he did that despite being labeled as a Muslim. And in fact, he was Iranian. So the father of modern day algebra was Iranian, but you never hear about that. All they say is that he was Muslim. He was Muslim. It was a Muslim that did this, Muslim did that. Not true at all. That's just one example. And like I said, like 90% of the people involved in the Islamic Golden Age were were Iranians and were from the Persian Empire.
Let's say decades or centuries from now, those buildings are still standing there. And, you know, the whole, everything's changed and, you know, Islam maybe is gone or whatever. And people look at it and go, wow, that was a golden age, that country, that civilization, because look what it led to.
Mhm.
Now, we would say, well, no, I mean, they had their Islam, sure, but this is actually money and Westerners built it.
Mhm.
Western technology, Western workers. And it just so happened that these Arabs had the money to spend on it. That, I submit to you, is the best way to understand the golden age that happened historically. It didn't happen due to anything to do with Islam, quite the contrary. It happened despite Islam, okay? And it was basically, so let's, if we go to
I just said that, guys. I just said that, right? So he just said the Islamic Golden Age didn't happen because of Islam. It happened despite Islam. Oh my gosh. Maybe he's actually going to say the truth. Oh my gosh, guys. Okay.
the Abbasid, as I was telling you, which is the primary golden age. This is now, okay, so now the Abbasid Empire is more Persianized, and it's in Baghdad, okay, and it's heavily Persianized. And at the time, a lot of the
I just said that, guys. Because that all used to be part of the Persian Empire. And then when the Arab Muslim invaders came and they conquered Persia, the vast majority of Iranians, right, in order to survive, they, pretend converted to Islam. Persia and Persians, now, Iran, we were conquered, but we were not colonized. So we kept our language, we kept our identity, we kept our culture, we kept all of that. The vast majority were just, pretend Muslims, so that the Arab Muslim invaders would just, leave us alone. So, oh wow, okay, this is really interesting. No wonder you guys were recommending me to play Raymond Ibrahim. He's actually, wow, he's okay. Like I'm blown away here. I'm gonna go back because this is wow.
Now, we would say, well, no, I mean, they had their Islam, sure, but this is actually money and Westerners built it. Western technology, Western workers. And it just so happened that these Arabs had the money to spend on it. That, I submit to you, is the best way to understand the golden age that happened historically. It didn't happen due to anything to do with Islam, quite the contrary. It happened despite Islam, okay? And it was basically, so let's, if we go to the Abbasid, as I was telling you, which is the primary golden age, this is now, okay, so now the Abbasid Empire is more Persianized, and it's in Baghdad, okay, and it's heavily Persianized. And at the time, a lot of the people, keep in mind, when these Arab Muslim conquests happen, most of, so let's say Egypt and Syria, which were highly Christian, let's say in the 8th century, 9th century, 10th century, they're still majority Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Jews also as well, especially in Alexandria and various cities. And you have a lot of Zoroastrians in Persia. Okay, you have all these different groups who are living underneath now Islamic rule. They're the ones who are doing all the stuff that we call the Golden Age. Okay, it's Christian.
He just said it. Oh my gosh. Okay, I need to go find more stuff by Raymond Ibrahim and his thoughts on the, Islamic Golden Age. Oh my gosh, like he basically just confirmed what I've been saying. See, guys, like I know my stuff. You guys have to trust me, okay? Like everything I say, just because you haven't heard it before, you might be like, what is she talking about? But I'm telling you guys, I have yet to say something incorrect. And everything that I say, right? It's true. It's true.
Most of, so let's say Egypt and Syria, which were highly Christian, let's say in the 8th century, 9th century, 10th century, they're still majority Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Jews also as well, especially in Alexandria and various cities. And you have a lot of Zoroastrians in Persia. Okay, you have all these different groups who are living underneath now Islamic rule. They're the ones who are doing all the stuff that we call the Golden Age. Okay, It's Christians, it's Jews, and especially it's Persians in the Abbasid era. And it's not because of anything special about Islam. I mean, they are literally not Muslims, and a few of them who are literally like they just converted. They're first generation converts, which means they're still primarily whatever their former religion was. So the best that you can say is that the Muslims, sponsored it, maybe paid for it. Okay, but there was nothing intrinsic to Islam. And once Islam started to harden, because even at this time,
Did you catch that? He just said what I'm saying. There is nothing Islamic about the Islamic Golden Age. The vast majority of them were Persians, aka Iranians, right? Boom. And yet, for some reason, the Arab Muslim colonizers, they like to go out and they like to talk about the Islamic Golden Age and how Islam did this and Islam did. No, it was not that whatsoever. Vindication, guys, vindication. You guys have no idea how frustrating it is for us Iranians when you have these like, these radical Muslims and they go out and they're like, oh, the Islamic Golden Age is, and then meanwhile I'm sitting there and I'm like, really? Because the Islamic Golden Age wouldn't exist without the Zoroastrians from Iran, who are actually the ones doing all of the inventions and all of the findings and everything like that, right? There you go. If anything, we should call it the Persian Golden Age. There you go. There you go. I feel very, very vindicated with that statement.